base that you're constantly attacking.
We don't
you
always
see exactly where the tanks are even based on the tower.
You know, we don't always see hard contains in that position with one player going for the infantry tank there and the other player going for the hard mech.
Yeah.
But that hard contain there versus, for instance, a soft contain, which would be no structures there, maybe not even all the tanks in siege mode, simply ready to pull out and move out. Sometimes you see bio play kind of like, have you ever seen when Bruce, Bruce Lee says, you know, I'm like water. I move like water against my opponent. If they hit me, if you punch water, the water just moves around you. That's a lot of times what you want to see with good infantry play. Is they're, you know, not colliding into you, but then just moving around you. But no, in that game, instead, quite the opposite. He stayed bamboo solid, and it worked against SuperNova. Now on to game number 2.
Habitation Station, Tasteless, up here at the top left. Terran player down a game in this series. He is
SuperNova.
And over here in the upper right, formerly known as Baby.
TY.
You can call him Baby if you feel more comfortable. A lot of people still do.
What does TY stand for? Do we know what that is?
Taeyong, it's his actual Korean name.
Ah, okay. It's not like thank you.
That's like what I send to somebody like does me a favor in a text message. I'm like, TY. Actually, I don't know, his ID reminds me
I'm
of...
like, I thought it stood for tree yogurt. I don't know.
It stands for Tasteless YOLO.
Yeah, Tasteless YOLO. I thought that's like, what else would it have stood for, man?
I actually think of TY Beanie Babies whenever I see his ID just listed like by itself. You know the TY heart tag?
Wait,
comes to mind.
for what?
You know the Beanie Babies, like stuffed animals?
Oh my God, I actually do know what you're talking about.
Like TY tag.
There's thousands of people watching this, and yes, to answer your question, I for some reason do know this thing about Beanie Babies. Remember, you might have been too young for this, but there was a period where people were like spending thousands of dollars on Beanie Babies on the internet.
One of my friends got the Princess Diana, it's like special bear Beanie Baby, and he like his parents got it when it was like when it first came out or something. Like he somehow got it for cheaper, and you know, when this craze happened, right? That one suddenly became very valuable. I think he sold it for something like $1,500 or something.
Oh my God, that's
and the thing is, he was like so young too. I can't even remember how old I was, like 10 or something. And he was able to like just through his parents like make this like investment, like sell this thing. I was like, wow, like I'm really jealous of you. Now you have a lot of money for your age. Like
that's so funny because like when you look back on that, I can't believe how stupid that is that anybody would actually want to spend like $1,000. Did you ever hear about the Tickle Me Elmo thing that happened one Christmas? Is like, I think, what was it, like the Tickle Me Elmo doll was featured on Oprah or something, and then, you know, on a few other news outlets, and suddenly it became like this craze, and moms were like beating each other up in malls.
All I know is that like once
Walmart to try to get the Tickle Me Elmo.
Once someone set a Tickle Me Elmo on fire and took a video of it.
Yeah, really I've seen that video. Yeah.
It's like whenever somebody says Tickle Me Elmo, that's the first thing that comes to mind.
Well, it looks like we have both guys going for mirror build so far.
Yeah.
Although, actually, excuse me, there's a slight deviation. One going for Spider Mines.
Yeah, it looks
the
like
other going for a Tech Lab.
Looks like the build for SuperNova is going to be a drop-oriented build, whereas TY is going to go for Banshees here. On this map, I like drops better, but we'll see. Like, it's all about execution here. And there's a little bit of luck to this as well, as always in TVT. Like, what are you looking at the moment, you know, when your opponent hits your base, and what, you know, what is he looking at? Who micros better? Because Banshee versus Banshee could be quite crazy when that situation occurs, because you're like microing your Banshee while also trying to micro against his Banshee while he's microing his Banshee and trying to micro away from your Banshee. Like, it's quite fun, but it turns out TY is going to go for a Raven instead. Looking like to play a more defensive build here. And it's SuperNova's map pick, so I guess TY is just like, oh, you're probably going to drop me or do something weird. Like, let me just play safe. I like that choice. Like, not everybody would handle this way, but it's not a bad choice by TY.
Do you remember this build that was really old that we saw? I mean, maybe it was casting with Dan. It might have been before you even out here in Korea, but this like Raven siege tank rush that they did, and they actually threw auto turrets down at the other Terran's entrance and killed them that way.
I remember that build. That was kind of weird. Well, good SCV splits here. It's actually, wow, he lost that. Well, he lost the Raven. That, oh wow, he saved that Widow Mine.
Yep, he actually did that.
Oh my god.
Well, that was a funny situation because the auto turret changed everything about that engagement there. You know.
Yeah. That was so.
I thought he was going to get the Raven, and then he was going to be able to keep that location for a while.
That was so bizarre. He's actually going to deny this command center as well. SuperNova is taking this game and making it his. I'm liking this a lot. He's also got his Widow Mine over here, which will probably kill the replacement SCV. Yep, there it goes. So even further delaying this. He's going to force another scan to be used because that Raven died earlier. Wow. Talk about tempo advantage here for SuperNova, man.
Yeah, he's looking great. More Marines coming down here now. Still no scan there on that Spider Mine. We do have a Viking out now. Try to catch. Oh, bad drop here. Needs to pick up.
Well, oh my god, is he going to lose that SCV again to the Widow Mine? I think he
Does
actually
he not
will.
know that it's there?
It's like he doesn't realize. He's denying it even without that information. Oh
my god,
he
yeah.
the Widow Mine. That's exactly what he wants to try here. He's like, oh,
okay, he's being smart.
Okay, yeah, he realizes. But still, he could lose that SCV. He needs to be very careful. That command center is so delayed.
SuperNova's got Slayer's Boxer, harass here.
Yeah.
So impressive.
This actually feels like a, Boxer versus Nada of 2011 or something.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like SuperNova's like Boxer, but TY is like Nada. And how they've been playing each other.
This has been a fantastic game so far.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have the factory going over to the tech lab, and the barracks going to the reactor here. And we don't know for sure if he's going to be meching here. With the barracks on the reactor, there's a higher chance here that SuperNova is going to stay on some level of bio.
I think he's actually going to try to do damage with his Banshee and then hit a timing attack with siege tanks and Marines.
You might be right. The worker count right now, TY, excuse me, is actually down to 25 to the 32 now here of SuperNova.
I wonder how much this Banshee will do, because it has Cloak now. If he can eliminate even one siege tank or some of those Marines, then I think that a follow-up push would be a great choice. Although it looks like he's just dropped the third command center, so maybe I'm wrong, but this is the kind of map that type of build can work really well on. Nothing here, few Marines only, and even with the detection on that Raven, he needs turrets here to defend against this. The Viking that he's got is going to be pretty useful. And a second Banshee now going to the main, and he's got no eBay even. Very late on that, and a 4 Hellion drop is ready to come in at any moment.
Well, again, most of this game, TY has been sitting back defending, just trying to be in the best shape to, start building up and macroing out the army that he needs. SuperNova has been all over TY throughout this entire game. There's a very high chance TY will just win this with how much damage he's continuously doing. By the way, a Hellion drop over here, and the Marines all nicely lined up now.
That's exactly what he wanted. He's killed so many of the Marines now. A scan goes down desperately over here, but I don't think he even has enough Marines. Okay, there's a Viking. Wow, he's killed so many Harvesters, 12 in total. Yeah, he's killed a lot of units as well.
42 to 31 with just the worker supply here. SuperNova in the lead.
Well, it looks like TY may be the one who wants to try to push out and punish. But I don't know how well this is going to work.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is I think TY might just not have enough of anything to really do that damage. I mean, yes, there's a good number of siege tanks here with the Vikings to spot, but normally you want some Marines or even SCVs or something there to get in the way.
One of the reasons why this build was so powerful in Wings of Liberty was because you had to research siege mode. That's like a very fundamental thing. Like in Heart of the Storm, you don't have to research that anymore. You just come with siege mode right away. So you can just have siege tanks ready at home to defend without even having to spend that extra gas. He's going to lose this bunker, but can he really break his way through here? He has that Banshee. That's huge. That Banshee might be a game changer.
Oh my god!
Great control on that siege missile.
Yeah.
But he loses the SCV building the turret. And that means the Banshee has free reign here. He needs to finish that turret. There he goes.
Okay, now we have a small drop over here, but this is not going to do much of anything here with the siege tank already down. Boom, everything gone. The medevac now pulling back out here. And the siege tanks are slowly closing in over here. I have to say, you know what, TY, despite being in a pretty bad position for most of this game, has managed to get this location set up very nicely here. He's done a very good job controlling this with his siege tanks. The Vikings will have to back out now. as the siege tanks reconfigure their setup here.
Yeah, but he's killed a lot. You know, he's now taking a worker lead again. TY, that is, and
yeah, TY looks great.
This has been a great game. Now, he's got to be careful. Those turrets change everything because he can't zone out his opponent's units anymore. The defender's advantage that he has with the better Viking count means that he's not going to be pushed into, but he can't come out and kill his opponent's worst Viking count because of those turrets. He's going to maybe get a Viking or a Banshee here. That looks great for him. There he goes, gets it. Just trying to circumvent the turrets again here. Super technical, this TVT right now. This is like...
yeah. Well, here's a problem for the time being is that SuperNova, he was switching into his own mech. Now, the problem with that is you don't have a lot of mobility. You can't move out on the map that easily. So what TY did that was very smart was he set up a contain here. Now, as long as he can keep this contain up, oh, maybe I spoke too soon. Looks like he's going to have to pull that contain out. Had he managed to keep that contain up for the time being, TY would have managed to get an econ lead here by having a third base and probably would have put SuperNova in a very tough spot. But SuperNova doing a very good job with the exterior part of his second base, was able to do enough damage there that TY had to think twice about actually setting up base over there.
He's actually going to drop a siege tank, 4 Marines, and Vikings with auto turrets set up to defend. This is actually a lot stronger than it looks, and he's going to lose a medevac, but these Vikings, if they try to land, are going to have a bit of trouble against the siege tank that's up here. The auto turrets, on the other hand, not really being utilized defensively.
Well, the auto turrets are put in an undesirable location, really.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
All right, looks like he'll get at least the Raven here before he escapes.
The idea there seemed pretty sexy, right? Like, it seems pretty appealing, yeah. But like it's without the auto turrets being over there to defend, I think he just got a bit too excited there. And I also think he might have overestimated how many Vikings he had versus what SuperNova had at home there.
Yeah.
I mean, 4 Marines is not that much extra DPS in the grand scheme of things, and SuperNova is actually going to counter with his own Viking drop. Like, what are we seeing? Combat shields are going to be canceled here. Yeah, and he's going to get, looks like maybe, I think he's targeting that tech. Well, he's not targeting anything, so never mind. He's just going to get whatever comes close. I mean, he just has way too many Vikings.
Yeah, with the land of Vikings over here, this is going to be pretty tough. He's leapfrogging the siege tanks up, but of course, immediately SuperNova could just back out again here with the Vikings. Really, SuperNova showing us why he is a legend when it comes to TVT here in StarCraft II. You know, early on in StarCraft II, it was mostly Terrans, kind of like in the last GSL, we mostly had Protosses. In Wings of Liberty, especially in the early days, it was very Terran heavy, and this really highlights exactly why somebody like SuperNova was able to succeed over all other opponents.
Yeah.
He's just very good. He has a deep understanding of TVT.
Well, I mean, what I love about this game in particular, the main thing is that you look at this and like, is landing Vikings like a normal thing? Is it a standard? No. And is that like going to become a standard? No. It's just like these two players know this game so well that they know exactly like what advantages they can try to use to get ahead of each other. Like SuperNova being able to realize, okay, what if I counteract his Vikings with my landed Vikings to attack in this weird timing that doesn't really happen in a normal game? It just shows how quickly they can react to the situation. And that's
they're both very adaptive players. Nice shot there with the Vikings taking out that medevac.
It's really sad for TY that his attack didn't do more, because I think that's what's really costing him the momentum in this game.
Well, I think the attack was pretty well thought out. It's unfortunate he didn't have the execution there with him.
Yeah, and that's going to cost him here. SuperNova realizing a drop may come and hit him, so he starts a few turrets, but 2 turrets alone is not going to be enough. There's not a whole lot in these 2 medevacs, though. They're not even both filled, so you know, it's, I don't know. We'll see. Vikings here continuing to give vision for those siege tanks. Siege tanks can shoot further than they can see, the old adage goes. All right, let's see. Only 1 turret actually going to be able to fire here, and it's going to go down pretty quick. Needs to send some units up to the main base right now.
Siege tank still in siege mode over here. Now let's see if this drop over here by TY brings enough forces back that then TY can try to break through the siege tank hold right over here.
It looks like he's really not too concerned about the drop. I mean, he's not overcommitting to going home. He's just sending back a few Hellions, 1 siege tank over here to support as well. And he keeps the Vikings at home, or back at his opponent's home, with that contain. These Hellions over here are going to force SCVs off the line. They do have blue flame, so just be careful about that. He needs to take it very seriously. Bit of a supply block here for SuperNova, as he lost a few times the Spidey Boost that had call down on them. Oh, could he get some more?
Get it? I don't know if he's actually hovering over that right now.
I don't think so, but he gets a few more kills. Worker count is slightly in TY's favor now, 64 to 60. And the contain has ended. Never really a hard contain, but a soft push out there. This will be cleaned up now as well. And the game will
nicely done.
Normalize at this point. Compositionally, it's something similar to what we saw last game. A mech composition versus bio siege tank. Mostly Marauders, of course. I feel like SuperNova would be wise to add some Ravens in if he can get a tech lab on his starport, because he has the gas to afford it, and he's up against a comp that Ravens would really, really help work against with that PDD. On the other hand, it's hard for him to commit to that, making another starport. That's expensive, and if he doesn't keep making Vikings, he loses control of the air, which is so critical in this matchup, especially with how this game has been played out so far.
Now he's going to go and try to get that command center, but that's going to be chased out by the infantry there. A bold move, by the way, for TTY to be putting the command center over there, considering it's not hard or that time-consuming to actually lift it and move it over there. We also could see that TTY, or TY, is fully aware of the minor disadvantage that he's at right now. He needs to get another expansion up. SuperNova is meching hard. He's looking great. He's actually ahead in supply. TY needs to get a good spread around the map, forcing SuperNova to attack in multiple locations in the hope that maybe SuperNova overextends in one of those and takes too much damage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like attacking this location directly, as he appears to have considered, would be suicidal. And this is the problem with Bio. At a certain point, you start to struggle to find an angle. He does get that CC for losing like just a Marine or two, that's fine. But it's only 100 mils with the cancel, and it's not like SuperNova is starving for money right now. And he just needs to make sure he makes no mistakes. And SuperNova's no longer going to wait. He's moving across the map now with a 30 army supply lead.
But this counterattack over here could be huge. Do we have anything at the third base right now for SuperNova? It looks like we had something, because we just saw that army get driven back over there. Meanwhile, a huge drop over here. This could end up knocking us into game number 3.
Well, it looks likely. He's now taken control of the base of TY. Hashtag Occupy TY.
Hashtag Occupy TY.
Here we go. Oh, just GG's out. He's
GG. Time for game number 3 now.
He goes to do some counterattack. SuperNova just has an adequate defense at every location. This is a great series.
It is. I haven't casted a great TVT in a long time, especially since Protoss and Zerg have been much more dominant than Terran.
I had a TVT game recently in Pro League that was awesome. It's just a best of 1. But then I love to see how a best of 3 really develops. I hope we come back to a period of dominance of Terran versus Terran.
Yeah, man, me too.
I love this matchup. I think actually might be my favorite matchup in the entire game right now.
Yeah, TVT might be my favorite as well. I just like how dynamic it is.
It's the mirror matchup with the most choices.
But the thing is, it's not like there's one right way and one wrong way. I mean, there's really a lot of flexibility. I know Artosis would say that mech is really the best, but we do see moments where that mobile army is so strong, it can really punish that mech player. And it's also a matchup about massive transitions into what you have.
Yeah. There's just so many different things to think about always in TVT. Whereas in the other matchups, it's kind of like, all right, well, he's making some roaches. I got to make more roaches than him and make sure I balance my drones. But it doesn't get much more complicated than that. But in TVT, air control, vision,